Hey guys, what's up? It's JockinJD back again with another video. I mean, it's only been 4 years, right? That's probably the core of the age of some of the people that are watching this that have been alive. And today, I want to make this video because soon we're going to have the release of Shadowlands and TBC coming later next year. And I want to make some content which wasn't just commentating Battlegrounds, it was more talking about the state of the game and shedding some ideas and insights into exactly what I think can be done to make the game better. I've taken large breaks in Legion and BFA. I hadn't done that in any of the expansions prior. I've taken small breaks, but I've always kind of done PvP casually, like Battlegrounds and stuff. I would love to like go to work and then just come back and just chat to some mates online on Discord and then just do some BGs, especially in MOP and WOD, especially with MOP when I did Rated. But I was trying to think to myself why in a little bit of Legion, but mainly BFA, why I also stopped doing that as well when I took these breaks. It got me thinking as to why that was, and now with two friends recently coming back to the game and with me currently playing some Classic, I've set myself a little challenge to try and get the Dread Flame enchant. It's not as good as the red or the green ones that came before it, but I still think it's quite cool. I wanted to kind of sit down and talk about why I think that I stopped playing in 8.1 but also took breaks in Legion. Okay. When my mates told me that they were going to start playing retail again, and I started to look into why. Well, I looked into what I would need to do to be relevant at a gearing level for PvP. Okay, I wanted to know what it would take to be sufficient. It used to be really simple, right? Grind the honor gear, level peg it with a lot of people, get the conquest gear. Okay, now I can start battering people. And I looked up a video by Van Rookie, and I'll place it in the description below. And he kind of like summarized exactly what you needed to do to be eligible, I guess, to be sufficient and well geared with PvP. I think it's I will put it in the description. I think it's like everything you need to know for returning to PvP. And it's definitely worth a listen or watch if you're thinking about doing it as well. And what struck me about it was, especially if you're someone like me that hasn't progressed their character really past 8.1, was just the ridiculous nature of work that needs to be done to kind of be sufficiently geared to be able to really do anything in PvP. I know there's a streamer called Soda Poppin', and he's kind of been doing it live on his Feral Druid. I've seen little clips just because I was intrigued, and yeah, it's a lot of work. So I definitely would. I'll link the video underneath. Definitely worth giving a follow. But you probably, if you've seen me by proxy, you know who he is because he's a much bigger name. So what really struck me was, as I start to now level like up my Warlock or my Shaman, I'm not sure which one yet I'm going to then take from 120 and gear up. It's just the mental amount of stuff you need to actually do when you think about it. So firstly, you've got your artifact neck levels. Essentially you just need to grind that from, if you're starting again, you need to grind that from 1 up to its max level. And by grinding out your artifact neck, your Azerite neck, you'll unlock the slots you'll have for unlocking your Azerite neck essences. Okay, so first you've got to get your neck to the sufficient level, which, yeah, you know, being honest, 2-3 weeks of world quests, some Mythic Plus, Island Expedition caps, your AFK battle will kind of get you there, and then you just keep naturally progressing. So yes, so first I've got to grind my neck up to like 80. Then I've got to find out my BIS Azerite traits and what gear drops them. And then I need to farm either the raids or Mythic Plus to get the correct 3 pieces of the 3 sets. That's 2 things already. So that's a lot. That's a lot of work. Then, as I spoke earlier about your Azurite neck, you then also got to get your Azurite neck essences, which is essentially 4 or 5 that you need, and that involves doing in 8.2 the Najatar introduction quest line, and then the real grind becomes unlocking the requirements that they give you for each one, that you then basically need to unlock 3 times each Azurite necklace trait to get the purple version, because that's the most powerful. There is a legendary one, but that's cosmetic, so you don't need to worry about that. But you need to, you know, like the basic one would be just to get your neck to 52 or something, then to 65, and then 70. It's different numbers, but what I'm saying is that's like the easiest one to get, and then there's essentially 20 others. Okay? And then finally, you need to obtain the right corruptions by farming another currency. Okay, so on top of getting the Azurite gear, which is its own thing, you've then got all these other pieces of gear. So we're talking about everything that's not your head, neck, shoulders, chest. Trinkets. The gear doesn't no longer Warforge or Titanforge, big plus, but it does Corruption Forge. And it was only up until recently when those corruptions would have been randomized, and they still are, but now there's a vendor which allows you to this is so much work, a vendor that allows you to essentially purchase the corruptions to be able to apply them to the gear. And there's a currency you can farm to get the correct corruptions you want, and then you have to wait on the vendor, which could be tomorrow or in 3 weeks, to sell the right essence that you need to buy to then be able to append it to your gear. So there's those things. Then there's also the fact that you need to do a quest line from 8.3 to unlock a legendary cloak, which you then can upgrade weekly by getting a currency that you obtain through essentially dailies. Yep, every week, that's right. And then that's capped to really how many times you can upgrade the cloak. So starting now means essentially I'm 3 months behind and can't really easily catch up to anyone else, unlike Conquest gear, where you used to be able to just, if you didn't play for a few weeks, the stock level of what you could earn would be backed up, so you had a chance to catch up. But I've got to unlock that, and so that's 5 mandatory tasks I've got to carry out before I get to actually play the game that I want. And in my mind, it's probably easier just to wait till Shadowlands and start a fresh template. But like I said, because I've got mates coming back, I thought this would be a fun challenge. You know, quarantine's still happening here, so I've got the time to spend on doing this. But I want to take a moment, and I urge you as well to just sit back and just think about how much work that is, especially if it's just to play the aspect of the game you want. And that's for 1 character. If you were to do this on 3 characters, that's insane. And I'm someone that tries to play 3 or 4 characters in expansion, because I just really enjoy a set of classes. That's just so much work. I know that obviously someone's going to say probably, well, once you've unlocked all the essences for your neck on a character, you can then use that character to buy them to unlock them on your ults, but you still need to farm a currency for it. You still need to spend more time doing stuff that's not really fun the second time on however many times characters you're going to have. And you know what? You know what blows my mind a little bit about that, if we can just talk about it, is as much as people hated WoD, I didn't massively hate it. Actually, I really quite liked some of how the classes played. They really nailed gearing in PvP. Like, think about everything I've just spoken about, or if you currently play the game and you've done the grind, like, remember back how annoyed everyone was that they had to run Ashrand once a week to get a trinket chance, which took maybe 30 minutes to an hour. That was it. You would naturally gear passively through doing battlegrounds, you drop your rating in low level arena, and you literally could do your PvP chores in an hour. Maybe that's too hard. An hour and a half, but you just needed to do Ashrand because you would be playing the game in arena or battlegrounds anyway with your friends or whatever you do, and so you would get the cap naturally. You know, as much as people hate WoD and it's labelled the worst expansion of all time, that gearing system or systems in that expansion were decent. And thinking about it, like PvP back then, especially the gearing aspect, was superior. Yeah. Sorry, it's weird to think just how simple it was back then. A lot of the classes back then as well I preferred. DK, Paladin, Priest, Warlock, Druid, Hunter. There was no Demon Hunters, but hey, people said that about DKs and Monks. I just felt they were better designed. And what excites me now about Shadowlands is the fact that they're changing class design. I think the problem is, and I'll go into this in a deeper video, is they made all these they changed how classes played to fit with the legendary they were given in Legion. So they big class changes to make them make sense with this artifact, and then in BFA they took away the artifact. So the class was designed around this. It's gone, and now the classes feel hollow. Well, not all of them, but quite a few of them, I feel. I remember at the start of BFA when I was playing my Shadow Priest, because I just thought I was doing a little bit of the PvE, and I thought this Surrender to Madness talent was absolutely awesome. It was really, really fun. Like you had this payoff as you built to it, then you had to maintain it and fight against the mechanics and fight against the boss, and you had this ridiculous DPS, like warriors execute in the end phase. You had this huge DPS spike, and then you died when the fight was over. If you made a mistake, you died, and that was just superb. But in PvP at the start of BFA, I remember my Shadow Priest toolkit not having a chance against Demon Hunters, specifically Demon Hunters, and Shadow Priest has actually throughout the past been pretty good against melee. It's actually one of the better casters against melee classes, but it was unreal. Like, to me, that was more uphill than the classic meme of a mage, of a ret or a warrior versus a mage. It feels like me playing a level 60 class that's just dinged versus a level 60 in full raid gear epics from Blackwing Lair. It's like, yeah, we're the same level, but you're so out of depth. You've got absolutely no chance. I think I'm going to do a video later talking about class design in Legion, because I think it really broke it. It really broke in BFA, and I want to talk about how I feel that happened and what they could do to revert it. But that's why I'm excited for Shadowlands, because they're changing how their classes are designed, because now they've got a fresh template and go, well, the class now needs to be designed around its abilities and not a weapon that it once had. So stay tuned for that. It's a lot of food for thought here. One thing though, is Shadowlands. I know this is what people say every expansion, but Shadowlands for me is really the last chance Blizzard can prove to me that they know what to do with retail WoW. Not getting any younger, and my free time's certainly not becoming more. So I'd really enjoy some aspects of the game to be easier just to jump into, and I think PvP is definitely the aspect of the game that they can bring the casual audience into. You know, you could say it's similar with League of Legends, where I mean, you have the hero and you just play, right? And everything's cosmetic, and I mean that would be another conversation about what they could reward, but it's just the entry simple. Instead of now and currently in BFA where I have to be mythic geared ready to PvP efficiently. And you could probably make the argument that, well, it's an RPG and you should spend time and invest in your character, and I agree definitely in the PvE aspect, but that's why having Classic as well is such a good idea. And with TBC coming, like, there's work there in terms of the reputation systems, but actually, like, you could just get to 70 from 60, which is not that long. So yeah, hope you don't mind this video update. It's a little bit of a ramble. As always, please like, dislike, comment, subscribe. More to follow. Hope you enjoyed this change of video, just some content. We're all bored. It's boiling here. It's absolutely, I'm sweating. I've closed the windows to try and not have any audio issues. So I'm going to open those up, and I'll speak to you later. So see you later. Peace.